everybody, welcome to my homestead and welcome to my channel. In this video, we're going to talk about something that just happened in Australia, another sign of the times, I believe. Sorry for the late video. I've been busy today. Maybe you saw my last video. We were we were castrating our bulls, turning them into steers. So that was an adventure, but it was pretty easy, went smoothly, and then we had a bunch of errands to run. So I'm only now getting to make my video of the day. So I came across this actually first on the church website because the church has sprung into action to help with this disaster. But essentially what happened is there was really bad, deadly flooding in Australia and record-breaking rain. And let me just read you some of this article. This is from the Wall Street Journal, so you can get an idea of what happened there. Okay. A more than 450 mile stretch of coastline from Sydney to Brisbane, the country's third largest city, has been hit with extreme rainfall over the past 2 weeks that has forced tens of thousands of people to evacuate and caused more than $1 billion in property damage. So first, I want to take a look at the map here. Let's look at Sydney, Australia. And okay, so here's Sydney right here, and then Brisbane is up here. So it said that this this coast right here, and click out of that. Let's go back here. So yeah, from Sydney to Brisbane, the country's third largest city, has been hit with extreme rainfall. Okay. In some areas, flooded roads cut off access, phone and internet services were spotty for days, and ordinary residents in small boats had to rescue their neighbors, prompting complaints about the response from authorities. Okay, so let's move on. Sydney has experienced, okay, look at this. Sydney has experienced the wettest start to a year on record, with rainfall totals approaching what would be expected for an entire year. So an entire year's worth of rainfall in Sydney, according to Australia's Bureau of Meteorology. About 34 inches of rain have fallen in Sydney compared with an annual average of just over 39 inches. My goodness. This sounds a lot like what was going on in Europe. What was causing all the flooding in Europe over here. It seems like it was like mostly in Germany, but I did see footage from the UK, France. I don't know if I saw Switzerland. I think Italy, Germany for sure. But there was like a whole bunch of flooding going on last year in Europe due to extreme rainfall. And now, well, we have this happening over here. So, I mean, is this the new norm going forward? It's kind of scary. It's kind of scary because if this is, and I would assume it probably is, I think it is due to global warming. This channel isn't the place to really debate what causes global warming, although let's just say that I probably agree with most of you about what does not cause it. I tend to think, I'm just going to say, I tend to think that this is something that's supposed to happen. It's part of the last days. It may even be preparing the Earth. The Earth may be currently in preparation for going from a telestial state to a terrestrial state. This is probably, I'm sure that this is programmed in to nature and into the Earth. That's what I think. I think that's what's causing all these different things that we're seeing: mega droughts, wildfires, and this extreme rainfall, hurricane, just all these different things, volcanoes. All right, so let's go back here. I think I had some more. Okay, scientists say extreme weather events are becoming more frequent and severe due to climate change. Australia is in the midst of La Nina weather pattern, which brings cooler and wetter weather. That's hard to say. Say that 3 times fast. Wetter weather. wetter weather for an unusual second year in a row. Last year, flooding inundated coal mining and agricultural areas. Okay, so there was some flooding going on last year. We're dealing with a different climate to the one we were dealing with before, Mr. Morrison said. That's just an obvious fact, and Australia is getting hard to live in because of these disasters. Yeah. Now, I pulled up a couple of the other things that I'm aware of. I'm not sure that it's really a comprehensive list. It's just a couple things. But we all remember, I'm sure, the in 2019 to 2020, all the crazy wildfires that were going on in Australia. You may recall, looking at your Facebook feed and seeing memes of like kangaroos and koalas crying and, fire behind them, or just like a burnt wasteland. This was a really big deal. This was a big deal. This is from the Washington Post, the other one's from Wall Street Journal. Okay, this is Washington Post. The 2019 to 2020 Australian wildfire season was historic. More than 42 million acres burned in an unprecedented outbreak of extreme fires, which produced lightning, launched smoky aerosols into the stratosphere, and turned New Zealand's glaciers brown with ash. The suffocating smoke was blamed for hundreds of deaths. So right now we have this happened last weekend, all the flooding. 2019 and 20, you had the wildfires in Australia. I did a video in, September 21st. There was a very rare earthquake that hit near Melbourne. And it's interesting because it says Australia sits in the center of a tectonic plate, and as a result, very rarely experiences serious earthquake activity, unlike neighboring New Zealand. So, they had this unlikely thing happen, and we covered that in this video. I'll put this in the description below if you want to watch it. But a 5.9. And here you can see the plate boundary right here going through New Zealand. So yeah, you can see that there's just like nothing really going on over here in terms of plate boundaries. And then, as far as like lockdowns and COVID and stuff like that, Australia's been kind of pretty harsh from what I understand compared to other countries. There's been a lot of like crackdown on different people violating things, some like really kind of ridiculous stories actually. But so Australia has really been seeing a lot of craziness the last couple of years, I guess starting in 2019. If you know of anything else that Australia has been dealing with, any other like disasters, let me know, put it in the comments below. Maybe I'll cover that. So anyway, so after reviewing all that, yeah, it makes sense. Mr. Morrison said, I think that's the Prime Minister. Let's see. Prime Minister Scott Morrison. So yeah, it makes sense that he would say, let's read it again. Australia is getting hard to live in because of these disasters. Yeah, and we're only at the beginning of the year, and we have all the rest of the year and then the years to follow. Yeah. Okay. Let's see. She said that Ellie Bird, a city councillor, said floods in the city aren't unusual, but this time buildings downtown were inundated up to the second floor. Holy cow. What city is this? Let's see. I don't know. To Lismore. So let's see where Lismore is. Lismore. Yeah, it's kind of closer to Brisbane, but this city right here. Okay, so up to the second floor. My goodness. Okay, what else? Here's a picture of it. You know, some guys in a raft. You can tell that's pretty deep. Okay, she says, quote, "The scale of what has happened to us is just mind-blowing." Okay, in Sydney, the country's most populous city, heavy rains this week caused a dam in the city's northern beaches area to spill over and prompted authorities to evacuate nearby residents. Public transit was snarled. A video posted online showed school children watching a vehicle float by outside their window. See, and that's like the thing that I've been so unaccustomed to seeing in Europe last year. And again, I would assume that this would just continue this year. Europe, probably other places, but like seeing cars floating away and buildings and stuff like that. The first time I really remember seeing anything really crazy like that was in 2011 with the tsunami that hit Japan. That was the first time I've really seen like just so much stuff being swept away by water. I know it's happened before. It's not like that's the first time, but there was a lot of that kind of scenery happening in Europe last year. So, and now in this year, 2022, in Australia. Okay, that's it for this article. And then there's this church article from the church newsroom. Australian Latter-day Saints spend hours helping those devastated by record-breaking floods. All right, I highlighted a few things from here. More than 100 members of the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints drove from Australia's Gold Coast to the town of Lismore. Oh, that's the one that we were just talking about, in northern New South Wales this past weekend, bringing food, supplies, fuel, labor, love, and support in an area destroyed by recent flooding. Okay. Yeah. Now, see, this is the best way to move stuff. If you have enough people, this is my favorite. What do they call it? Like a fireman line or something like that? This is my preferred way. Instead of like everybody go and grab something and taking it, like this is better. Okay. The evening of Thursday, March 3rd. Okay, what day was that? That was last Thursday. It says it right there, dummy. Oh gosh. Woo, okay. I don't care. I'm not going to edit it out. I don't got time for that. The evening of Thursday, March 3rd, a call went out asking for donations to be dropped off at the stake center. The next day, hundreds of church members, neighbors, and friends from the Gold Coast stake and the neighboring Coomera stake delivered items well into the night and again the following morning. Because of so much community support and so many donations, organizers had to look for more vehicles. That's a fantastic response to this. That's really good. That Saturday, CJ Talepa, 26, told Australia Newsroom, quote, "Driving into Lismore today, I couldn't believe this was Australia. I've never seen anything this bad in my life. It was heartbreaking." End quote. Other volunteers described the streets of Lismore looking like a war zone, with overturned vehicles and trailers lodged in trees. Many towns along the way were also badly affected. Okay. Here, this picture, volunteers from the Gold Coast, Australia stake organized donated supplies on Saturday, March 5th, 2022, to help victims of devastating floods. All right. The volunteers unloaded the donated food, clothing, and supplies into the Lismore Ward meeting house, filling several rooms. Ward leaders said they were expecting a tenth of what arrived. Awesome. Due to the enormity of the donations, church leaders opened the chapel to the wider community to access supplies, reported Australia Newsroom. Cleaning up and helping out. Yeah, look at all that. Volunteers from the church worked alongside their alongside other community organizations and faith groups to clean homes, yards, streets, and local businesses all weekend. Some had traveled hours to be there. They removed wreckage and debris when asked and cleaned, debris, then washed and cleaned mud out of flooded homes. Very little was salvageable. The stake had planned to serve around the community for Come and Help Month, which is an effort by the church's Pacific area to take part in community service projects. So it's interesting. So everybody was already primed for this because, this happened. So this happened basically over that weekend, March 5th and 6th, essentially. So they were already in that frame of mind to do this. This was like the perfect time. If this was going to happen, this is the perfect time as far as our church being able to help for this happening. The heavy rains and flash flooding had canceled their plans, but the weekend of March 5th through 6th was an answer to the call to come and help in Lismore. All right, these guys all muddy. That stinks. Just horrible. So make sure to pray for these people that have been affected. Unfortunately, like I said, I think that this is just going to continue. Who knows where? Probably worldwide. Last year we also saw Utah. We saw Utah get hit down here by. It was over by Cedar City, Enoch. Enoch was flooded in this area. There was a lot of crazy flooding happening there. I can't remember. There's just so much. Last year was crazy. It looks like this year will also be crazy. We have this war going on in Ukraine with, no certainty about what's going to happen, how far it's going to go, if this is going to go beyond Ukraine, if it could potentially spark in some way into World War III. Which I don't think it's going to happen, but I'm not going to say that there's not the potential for that. We're just going to have to keep an eye on this. So this is another big thing that's happened this year. So far, as far as things that we've covered on the channel, we've talked about, we covered the volcano that happened in Tonga, the underwater volcano over here, Tonga, and that was devastating, caused a lot of damage. That was kind of like the first big thing to kind of kick off the year, in my opinion. And then after that, the next big thing that we covered was this invasion in Ukraine, and that's still ongoing. Have no idea how that's going to end. And now we have this flooding, this historic flooding that just happened along the coast of Australia, the east coast between Brisbane and Sydney. So that's where we're at right now. We're in the beginning of March. So, all right, that's it. So if you haven't already, please make sure to subscribe, like this video if you liked it. Make sure to leave your thoughts, information, comments in the comments section, and then make sure to share this with anyone that might find this interesting, and I'll talk to you guys later.